Welcome to New at NAMT, the next wave of musical theater writers, a series dedicated to spotlighting the emerging voices in musical theater. Every interview provides a unique glimpse into the creative minds behind the next big musicals. So, whether you're a producer, theater lover, or even simply curious about the future of musical theater, New at NAMT offers a front row seat to a new generation of writers. This season on New at NAMT, we'll be highlighting the winners of the 2025 Musical Theater Songwriting Challenge for high school students. Presented by the National Endowment for the Arts, NEA, in partnership with the National Alliance for Musical Theater, NAMT, in collaboration with Concord Theatricals, Disney Theatrical Productions, the NMPA S.O.N.G.S Foundation, and the Sherry and Les Biller Family Foundation. The Musical Theater Songwriting Challenge is a unique educational opportunity for high school students to write and showcase a song that could be in a musical. This past year, 8 winning songs by 8 student songwriters were selected to win the Songwriting Challenge. Those winning student songwriters traveled from all across the country to New York City in June for Winners Weekend, where their songs were fully orchestrated and performed live in a concert by Broadway performers. You can still watch the concert at home by heading over to namt.org/challenge and see the first ever performance of these songs for yourself. Over the next little bit, we'll talk with the winners about their songs and the full Musical Theater Songwriting Challenge experience. It's time to lower the lights, raise the curtain, and LX1, go on New at NAMT. I am your host, Jean-Paul Yovanoff from Musical Theater Radio, and joining me for today's conversation are LEELA KUMAR and ANDREA DALY. We'll discuss LEELA's experience as a winner of the 2025 Musical Theater Songwriting Challenge for high school students for her song Dancing Through a Dream from her musical of the same name. LEELA KUMAR is currently a senior at Howell High School in Mammoth County, New Jersey. She will be attending Harvard University in the fall. She loves performing and songwriting and has written, produced, directed, and starred in an original musical called Dancing Through a Dream. She continued to expand and evolve her work during her time at the Iowa Young Writers Studio and through her experiences at Juilliard. When she's not composing musicals or rewriting lyrics at 2 a.m., she's enjoying tempting fate by ordering avocado hand rolls despite being highly allergic to sushi. ANDREA DALY is an award-winning composer working at the intersections of musical theater, pop, and classical music. After completing a PhD in classical composition at Stony Brook University in 2014 and releasing 4 EPs as a pop songwriter with Warner Chappell Music, ANDREA used both musical styles to inform the score of her first original musical, Legendale, which was featured in NAMT's 2015 Festival of New Musicals. She was a mentor for the 2025 Musical Theater Songwriting Challenge for high school students. LEELA, ANDREA, welcome to New at NAMT.
Thanks so much for having me. I'm so excited to be speaking with you today.
I love this intro. Thank you so much. I'm thrilled to be part of this.
LEELA, to get us started, I'd love for you to introduce yourself to the listeners and tell us a little bit more about your winning song.
Of course. Hi, my name is LEELA. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm calling in from New Jersey right now. My song Dancing Through a Dream is about a freshman in high school named Ava. She's sitting alone in her back room of her house late at night, guitar in hand, trying to write something meaningful. Earlier that day, her English teacher gave her a class assignment to present an object that was meaningful to her in a 90-second show and tell. So Ava decided to turn her speech into an original song. Her best friend tells her you can worry about what others think, or you can choose to be you. And this song sort of lives in that moment, when she's deciding whether to hide or to take the risk of being seen. And it's really about the vulnerability and hope that comes with sharing your voice for the first time.
And what was the inspiration behind your winning song?
Yeah, so this song was part of a musical that I wrote and produced at my high school, and it was actually inspired by something that happened to me my freshman year. So our English teacher gave us this show and tell assignment where we had 90 seconds to present something meaningful to us. And I just got this brand new guitar and I was so excited about it. So I decided to write my speech in the form of a 90-second song on my guitar. But when I presented it, the reaction didn't really go the way I expected. A few people started to clap, but then they kind of looked around and it just got really awkward. And I felt so embarrassed and really demoralized. And later that day, I went to my guitar teacher and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so stupid. I can't believe I did that. Like, it's the first month of high school, and now I had to be with these people for the next 4 years. And, well, he actually laughed at me. And he told me that he actually did the same exact thing when he was in high school, except in his case, his original song was about Shakespeare. I never expected that coming from him. He's this really cool guitarist with piercings and tattoos. But anyway, then he told me something I'll never forget. He said, look, everything in high school passes, and one bad day doesn't define you. But more than that, it's a lot about who's in the audience. So he encouraged me to perform my song again at this summer show, which I did. And after that performance, I was actually asked to be lead singer of a rock band that day, which was crazy. So writing this musical, I guess, became a way for me to express that whole experience and share a message I think a lot of people can relate to. And the final line of my musical is, you're more than a moment frozen in time, because moments aren't frozen, they're alive. And, that's something I always think about, and it helps me navigate the voices in my own head.
I love that line about moments being alive. I have a question. So speaking of the voices in your own head, can you tell us a little bit about what the process of writing the song was like and what your sort of internal creative process is like when you're working?
Of course. I wrote this song the summer after that experience, and I guess usually when I write, I like starting with the lyrics, just playing around with some phrases until something clicks emotionally for me. And then a melody usually starts forming naturally around a line or a phrase, and once I hear that earworm, everything builds from there. At first,
Hmm.
my song was just piano and vocals, but later, during my time at the songwriting program at Juilliard, I added cello and violin and flute, which really helped expand the complexity of the piece. I really wanted this song to sound dreamlike and a bit whimsical, so I used chord progressions to move in this pendulum like way back and forth, as if she was drifting between the confidence and the doubt.
It totally feels dreamlike. I remember hearing it for the first time and just feeling like I could get lost in that moment. It's really beautiful the way you put it together. I wonder if you could tell us a little bit about your journey with the Songwriting Challenge. Like, how did you find out about the program in the first place, and then how did you end up getting involved?
Ooh, I first found out about the Songwriting Challenge through YouTube videos of past winners, and I was completely blown away. The songs were so honest and beautifully written, and I'd never seen anything like it for high school students. So I started attending the online workshops and events, and they were just incredible. Everyone was so welcoming, and it didn't feel competitive at all. It was so collaborative. And my favorite event was the Collab Lab, where I got a chance to write a song in 30 minutes with a friend, and
What? That's
it,
crazy.
it was so fun. And what really stood out to me about it was how supportive everyone was. People genuinely wanted to help each other grow, and that sense of community made me really want to be part of it.
I just want to add that, like, this thing about the collab lab, the songwriting challenge that NAMT has updated, this new iteration. It's just like an entire ecosystem. You can be involved from like anywhere in the US, and you can participate in all of these different little mini programs where you can submit a song, edit a song, get feedback, be part of a collab lab. Like, I just think it's so cool that there's so many moving pieces, and that regardless of whether or not you end up coming to New York for a winter's weekend, you can get plugged into this whole community, and meet different people and work on your art. I just think it's really cool. That's all.
Right.
Yes,
Yeah, that was
Jean-Paul.
really cool. I made a friend from Michigan, the girl who I wrote a song with, and we connected on
Mhm.
Instagram, and we're really good friends now. It's so cool how this musical theater is such a small world, and being able to like network and connect with people in the industry is just so wonderful.
Yeah.
So you find out you're a winner and you get paired up with Andrea Daly and it's your program mentor. What was it like working with Andrea as you prepared for Winners Weekend?
Oh, Andrea has been such a light. From our very first meeting, I loved how easily we clicked talking about our musical influences. We both love classical piano, but we grew up on pop music, and our creative process is very similar. And by the way, her songs are amazing. You should definitely take a listen if you haven't already, because Andrea, you're an
Too sweet.
incredible artist. And
Thanks,
what I
Leila.
love, and what I love most is that during rehearsals, you really listened to me and my vision, and I feel like you didn't just hear my song, you really felt it, and you treated my ideas with so much care. Like I came in with all these sounds in my head and these big hope, these big hopes, and you really helped me bring them to life in such a considerate, valid way. And I'm just so grateful I got a chance to work with you.
Thank you so much. That's very, very sweet. Obviously, as we listen to Leela speak here, she has such a special way of expressing what's in her heart and making people feel valuable around her. Something that really stuck out to me during that whole Winners Weekend was even when Leela was the one in the spotlight, she had a way of making everyone else around her feel special too, just in the way that she thanked the performers for working with her. Like it was like the first thing that she said when she was standing up to give notes. And I think that that's an incredibly special quality, especially if you're going into musical theater, because we all know how collaborative of an art form this is. And so if you know how to make your collaborators feel valued and special, it can take you very far. So it's
Well,
been
it was
such a pleasure to work with you too.
it was easy with you, Andrea.
Thank you.
How did it feel to come to New York City for Winners Weekend? What were some of the highlights from the weekend?
It was honestly surreal in the best possible way. Everything about Winter's Weekend was so thoughtful, and I just kept having moments where I couldn't believe that I was actually there. And one of my highlights was going to the New Work Summit with NAMT and getting the chance to hear professional writers talk about the shows that are still being developed. And it was so fascinating to see how open and unfinished the process could be. It made it feel very human. And seeing Aladdin was also so unforgettable. And the group dinners were such a nice part of the experience. I left feeling so inspired and just really thankful that I got a chance to be there.
Yeah, I would just add that for me, so I've been living in New York City for 18 and a half years now. And it's fun for me to be able to experience New York through the eyes of folks who are coming in and like hanging out. Well, you live in New Jersey, but a lot of folks
Right.
were flying in from all over the country and we're maybe walking through Times Square for the first time, not to mention getting to hear the work that was in their head for the first time coming to life with these stellar musicians and a stellar cast. And that was inspiring for me too, to be able to watch something that never happened to me exactly that way, but like I remember those feelings from long ago, and it was cool to experience that same thing through the eyes of other artists who are hearing their work for the first time.
Definitely.
Leela, I wonder if you could tell us more about the studio day itself. So, like the moment when you're actually hearing stuff for the first time. What was that like for you? How did it feel?
It was actual magic. I don't know how else to say it. Hearing something that had only existed in my head suddenly come to life with professional musicians and performers was overwhelming in the best way. I remember sitting there and thinking, like, this is real and this actually exists outside of me now. And everyone cared so deeply about the music, and the energy was so contagious. It made me feel so inspired, and I definitely had this feeling like I really want to write.
It's addicting, right? You get that little like buzz of like, oh my gosh, this was in my head, and now it really exists in the world, and
Right.
you don't want to give it up. So you talked a little bit about the community that you've met being a part of this. Can you say more about what it was like to meet other young musical theater writers in person during the weekend? And have you kept in touch with anybody, or are you collaborating with anyone?
It's been so cool. I've never been surrounded by so many people my age who love musical theater as much as I did in one room. We still have a group chat and we stayed really close. One of the other winners, Judah, actually founded this organization called the Young Theaters Artists Collective, which is this youth-led national group that connects student theater artists across disciplines like writing and composing, design, everything. And I'm now serving as vice president, and it's been so amazing to help build a community where young artists can collaborate and support each other, and it just made the process so fun.
That's incredible. I had no idea that that existed. Kudos to Judah. That's incredible. Young Theater Artists Collective. How do people get involved in that? Is there a way to get involved that other people
Yeah,
should know about?
yeah, we have a website up right now called YTAC. If you search it up online, you can apply. We'd love new members. It's really a place to share new ideas and learn from other theater writers and network. And it's been really, really fun. We're just getting started, but you should definitely check it out. It's really fun.
That's great. And you don't have to be a writer. You could also be a designer or a director or interested in like behind the scenes work. Is that correct?
Right, it's for any discipline.
That's so cool. Well, okay, so speaking of working behind the scenes and wearing too many hats, you wrote and produced and directed and starred in the musical that your winning song is from. So, what are you hoping is next for your musical, Dancing Through a Dream?
So next year I'm going to college and I'll be studying musical theater writing, and I'm really excited to expand my musical into a full-length show, hopefully, and put it on during my time at Harvard. I'd love to do what I did at high school there too, writing, producing, directing, and maybe even starring. Although I think that I should definitely have a co-director this time to make the process even better. And I'm also applying to
More work.
the true. And I also applied to the Berkeley Dual program. So I'm really hoping to take songwriting courses there and then maybe learn about song production and have some of my songs produced. But beyond that, I'm just excited to keep learning history and other people's stories so I can be inspired by that in my own work and turn those experiences into something that can connect with others and hopefully leave impact.
Well, I'm just curious, what's the Berkeley Dual program? Does that allow you to be at Harvard and also taking classes at Berkeley?
Yeah, so the campuses are very close to each other, so it allows you to take
Hmm.
your main courses at Harvard and then commute to Berkeley for part time and take a few courses there. So
For
I
side
love,
dishes. Right?
what did you say?
I was just making a terrible pun. Main courses and side dishes. Sorry, continue.
Yeah, it's a great program. I'm really excited about it.
Cool.
Students participating in the Songwriting Challenge are currently in the rewriting process of their songs for Draft 2. How did you take the feedback you received from Draft 1 and implement it into Draft 2? What advice would you give about rewriting?
I think one of the most helpful pieces of advice I got from the team was to create more distinct character storylines, which would help situate the song better into the actual context of the scene. So for draft two, during the bridge, I added these conflicting voices over the harmonies that were already there. And these voices kind of represented memories from Ava's past that battled in her mind and swirled around her. And I really feel like that added so much emotional depth to the scene. I think rewriting is really about listening, both to feedback and to your own instincts as well. And sometimes small changes can really just unlock something much bigger emotionally. So don't be afraid to uh, take little details and make it really shape a song.
It can have a huge impact. That's so true. How has participating in the Songwriting Challenge impacted your own growth as a songwriter and an artist, would you say?
I would say I think it taught me that creativity shows up when you give it a space to grow, honestly. I learned that I work
Mhm.
best when there's a deadline, definitely, and also a
Don't we
supportive
all?
and also a supportive community, of course, cheering each other on. It really helped me trust my instincts more and not overthink every lyric. So, in a way, it really reminded me why I love writing songs in the first place.
From your experience in the Songwriting Challenge, what's the one piece of advice you'd pass on to other young songwriters dreaming of this opportunity?
Definitely don't be afraid to share your work, even if it feels unfinished or vulnerable, because those are often the most meaningful places to learn from and create from. Also, I would say try to ground your song in a very specific moment or scene, because the more specific you are, I found, the more universal that it can become. And definitely attend those challenge workshops because they're amazing and you will learn so much just by being part of that community.
LEELA, thank you so much for joining us on New at NAMT. It was great to see you.
Thank you so much. I also want to thank the National Endowment for the Arts, Concord Theatricals, Disney Theatrical Productions, the NMPA S.O.N.G.S Foundation, and the Biller Family Foundation for all their support in making this program possible.
And of course, would love to thank Andrea for joining us as well. I loved hearing about your experience with the challenge.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure.
LEELA, before we go, where can listeners stay up to date on your work? Websites, socials, all that sort of thing.
You can follow my new songwriting account on Instagram at LEELA and the Script. I'll be sharing more music and updates there when I get to college.
Great. Well, that's it for today's interview. Thanks so much for the two of you for joining us today. Once again, I am your host, Jean-Paul Yovanoff, and on behalf of NAMT and MTR, thank you for joining us today as well, and we'll see you in the theater.